Hey everybody, it's Commander Cloud and we're back with another patch notes reaction and discussion video today for the Lord of Darkness 5.8 PC update. So Chernobog or Chernobog, it's probably Chernobog or something like that. I haven't heard the pronunciation actually, so I'm not sure. But yeah, he's coming in this patch live on the PTS right now, I'm sure. So everybody better check that out. I hope everyone enjoyed having the music in the background for the tier list video. I'd like to try to do that for these types of videos so they're not so boring to listen to. Anyway, gonna get right into this. I would like to have gameplay to go along of Chernobog to go along with this, but I am not going to be able to do that at the moment. Hopefully there will be a separate video for that at some point. So let's jump in the obvious. Chernobog, Lord of Darkness. Remember, I'm going into these completely blind for the most part. I saw part of the skin section of the update note, of the live update notes, and that's about it. I know nothing about this god. So let's see. Passive Heart of Cold. Every successful basic attack impales the enemy with a brittle crystal. Upon reaching 3 stacks of Heart of Cold, the enemy explodes for extra damage in an area around them. This is like, it's like I'm playing Halo 3, he's a damn Needler. Anyway, damage 15% plus 1% times your level of your total basic attack power. Okay, so 15% of your in-hand plus 1% times your level. So max strength, that's 20%. So 35% of your total in-hand power. So let's move on to ability number 1, Crystallized Curses. Chernobog conjures a large crystal of curses and hurls it at the target location, dealing damage on landing after several seconds. The crystalline curses explode, dealing damage again, eroding any enemy in the area. The crystal can be detonated early by firing at it with Vicious Barrage. Hurls it at a target location, dealing damage on landing. So it doesn't have that, and then a secondary AoE explosion. Yeah, that's what it appears to be. Explodes outward from the target location. That's what it looks like. Cool ability. It's kind of like Carninosis 2. It does something similar. You can detonate it early by firing Vicious Barrage. This is a next ability, but let's see this damage initial for hitting the target. So going from 50 at rank 1 to 170 plus 80% of your physical power. Explosion damage is the same. Groove duration is 1 second. Mana cost 60 to 80. That's pretty low. Cooldown scales down from 15 to 11 seconds as you level. That's a pretty low mana cost. Damn. That looks like it's gonna be your main clear, I would assume. I'm also gonna assume that it will detonate at the end of the targeter. If you don't hit a target, it won't do the initial damage, and then it'll just explode. That's how it reads, I would assume. Alright, so let's look at Vicious Barrage. Chernobog fires in a large crystal shard that can pierce enemies and deals damage like a basic attack. This applies a single stack of Heart of Cold to all enemies it passes through and instantly detonates Crystallized Curses. Chernobog gains increased attack speed for several seconds after using this ability. Damage 100% of your basic attack damage. Okay, this is new. Attack a move that does damage based on your in-hand power. That's new. Huh. So wait, does this channel? Oh, it does channel, and then your basic attacks become charged with the... Okay. I get it. Okay, that makes sense. It's just a steroid that also applies as passive and can detonate this early. So you throw crystallized curse, pop your 2, bang zoom, instant burst, attack speed increase 30 to 70%. Ooh, I would have liked 5% increments better. So it'd be 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. This seems a little high. I don't like that. Duration 3 to 5 seconds. Duration is fine. I think that's fine. Mana cost 80 to 100. Good that it scales up. Cooldown is 12 seconds. May want to make that. Yeah, I suppose that's fine. Into Darkness. This is an interesting ability. Fits with his lore. Think. Dash forward with your wings in a shadowy form, dealing damage to enemies on the way and slowing them. If you collide with any wall, you connect with it, becoming shadow on the wall for a few seconds. You're unable to hit or be targeted during this time. You gain a second dash to leave the wall, or can cancel the ability to leave early. So you go poof into the wall, poof, back out. And it does damage each time you pass through a target, I think. So you have the potential to hit someone with this twice. It goes from 60 to 120 plus 45% of your physical power, 25% slow, 2 second slow duration, mana cost flat 70, cooldown 18 to 14 seconds. This is also your main escape ability, obviously because it's a dash. And as such, it's got a higher cooldown, which is good. It means you can't abuse the ability to run away like unlike Thoth can with his ridiculous low cooldown dash and stun. So that was fine. This is interesting. This ability actually doesn't do damage. This is odd to me. I think in certain situations, if we talk in the dual perspective, I don't know that he's going to be particularly useful. He's not going to be as useful as other hunters. He's a hunter, right? They didn't tell me. It doesn't say. I'm assuming, because he throws crystals at you. But his lack of an ultimate that does damage is going to hurt him in the game mode. In Conquest, this is a very good ability. Though, during a brief tailing period, Chernobog summons shadows at the location of all enemies. That applies stacking slow and lasts for 8 seconds. Is this global? Chernobog can select any of his shadow clones to fly towards. Once he reaches the location, he takes the place of his shadow, refreshing his cooldowns as well as temporarily obtaining damage mitigations. Extra movement speed in every attack triggers Heart of Cold. That's really good. Damn, that's pretty good. Heart of Cold for each attack while it's active is effective. 110 second cooldown, good. Mana cost 80 to 120 is fine. Bonus stat duration 6 seconds. Damage mitigation 20-40%. This is interesting. Movement speed 30%. Now, how difficult is this to use in the middle of a fight? So you can, throw all your stuff at somebody and then do it to refresh your cooldown and get mitigation. I don't know what the channel time is on it. It could be fairly long, like Apollo's ultimate, which might make it less effective because you're vulnerable to damage during the channeling time, and that may not necessarily be good if you're trying to use it in the heat of a fight to escape. That could turn it in your opponent's favor fairly quickly. In which case you can't re-engage. But it's interesting. I like his abilities. I think it's good. They did a good job with fitting it with the lore, personally, so that's good. And then usual recolor skin to start with. And that's Chernobog. Chernobog. There's not an R there, idiot. What are you doing? Anyway. Hopefully be a video out about him. Gameplay video for him later this week. I'd hope for tomorrow. Or Tuesday next week at the latest. New skins, you United Colon. Show off your USA pride. And shout America from the rooftops. And Chibi Fenrir, poor Manny. He is no longer the law. He's been chewed to death. Fat Loki, Kabrakin, the meme lives on. And that's kind of dead. Northern Ranger Hachi Man, everyone thought this was an Uller skin. Haha, baited. XD. Anyway, yep. Mastery skins. Divine Uprising event. It's like, it's a regular thing. You know, like the thing last year with Ares and all that stuff. I think I'm not going to go to details on this, or we're going to be here all day. New free gods. These gods will be unlocked for all players starting in update 5.8. Thank God they've done that, because there's over 90 gods in this game now. In fact, I think Chernobog is 93. I'm not positive. And we've only got five gods to start with that aren't free rotation. And now they finally, after all that time, decide, hey, let's make some more gods free so you can have at least 10% of the gods in the game available to you. And you don't have to sit there and play the same stupid gods. Tutorial update, it'll never work. It'll never be any good though. I'm sorry, the tutorial's terrible. New cosmetics, Slavic stuff. America Global Emote. New Awesome Chest editions. New Fantasy Point Store editions. Basic. Thank you! They've nerfed that back down. That was a completely dumb and pointless change. There was no reason to buff this item. It was already really good. Bunch of weirdos. Soul Reaver, increased cost from 2650 to 2750 because, ooh, it's got 130 power now. So let's make it cheaper than Typhons and several other items. That's a lot of power for that cost. Glad they're increasing it more. Decreased cost from 2500 to 2300 and Stone of Foul because nobody wants to buy this item. Which is weird. If you're in a burst, against a burst heavy comp, this is a very good item for Guardian to pick up. Some lane Guardians would like this when dealing, if they're dealing with like a Thoth or a Janus or Discordia, etc. Any mages that do a lot of damage at once. It's a good item. The stats are kind of silly. It's got 40 magical powers, 70 protections, cooldown reduction, like pretty crazy. See, new passive anytime you would be dealt more than 20% of your max health by a single magical ability that damages. Instead reduced by 10%. This effect has no cooldown. Okay, so they've lowered the amount of damage of to your health that it takes to actually proc it. And they nerfed the damage reduction too. I like that better. It makes it happen more often, so I think that's fine. In fact, it has no cooldown, so you can just run in with thorns. It's like, hey, hit me. It's like, whatever. Oni Hunter Garb. For each enemy god within 55 units, you gain a stack of 2% damage mitigation. They nerfed it. Why? It had an all or nothing passive. Smaller amounts for every enemy you go around, you go up to 3. This lets it reach a similar amount of strength as the old passive, but contributes smaller effects with only 1 or 2 enemy gods nearby. So, why am I still picking this up if I only get 6% mitigation? Don't I just buy Spirit Robe instead? Because that gives you way more mitigation. Thing also doesn't have that many protections. I don't think that's going to discourage people from wanting it, because isn't it weaker now? What? And that being said, I don't think it was getting built that often, really. I don't know. Achilles. Hey, look, he's getting nerfed. Wow. Anyway, long story short, they want to lower his early pressure and keep him from being so stupid. Decrease the damage to targets in the outer cone from 80% to 70%. Combat does decrease damage from 65 to 225 down to 55 to 215. A lot of times you're still going to want to level this anyway, because that's not a particularly massive damage decrease. Early it's impactful, but late this thing, it still hurts. That's a decent enough change, I guess. This is fine, but I don't think that's the problem. They need to lower the amount of power he gets from either his passive or his 2, because both of those are... Having both of those where they are, I think, is too strong, and that's the main problem with him. He just gets a large amount of burst when he really shouldn't have that ability. Have the ability to do that. Aphrodite. Decrease cooldown of this ability if you hit an ally from 3 seconds to 1 second. So if you gotta do crazy stuff like throw it on somebody to ult them, and then you can throw it to your other teammate that got hit and then heal him, and it's like, whoa, bro, we can be so dynamic and nuts. High tier plays. It's gonna take really good Aphrodite players to use that like that, though. I feel like that still requires constant management. Well, I mean, the thing about this, it gives you more ability to, like, manage your teammates and keep them alive during fights, because you can switch between all of them to give some of them ult immunity, give one of them a heal, and give another one, and hit another one to have more range for your damage on the 2, blah blah blah. It's a very dynamic thing. I like it though. Fun. That'll make her pretty fun to play, really. Okay, I was seeing things about this that were pretty big. Guan Yu's hit chain has some unique animations that feel like they should have specific effects other gods have on theirs. His third hit, which is a large swipe, will now cleave. Boy, he can clear with his autos a little bit. They're still slow as heck. And the final hit, which is a long forward strike, will now have longer range. Ooh, along with this is passive. It's already pretty long. Getting a tweak allowing him to maintain maximum stats as long as he stays in combat, as a god that is known for his extended fighting capability due to his low cooldowns. He has a passive that matches that playstyle. That also matches his lore better, because he's the Saint of War. He fights you. That's what he does. So he should be rewarded for fighting you. Third hit of Guan Yu's hit chain now cleaves. Last hit has had its range increased from 12 to 16 units. The first 2 hits of Guan Yu's hit chain have remained unchanged. Stacks now only reset when out of combat rather than being consumed by a single ability. So you get them up, press 2, bonus damage, extra and slow, press 3, bonus damage, press 1, more healing, and you just keep on fighting. Just get in there and tear them up, be like Muhammad Ali. Keppers. Increase root duration of solar flare from 1.3 to 1.7 up to 1.5 to 1.9 seconds. Increase damage scaling from 50 to 250 to 60 to 280. Hooray! Solar flare does more things, I guess. This is more significant. The stun duration increase is a big deal. Like it. Kuzin Bro. Water Bowl, increased damage reduction per stack from 1% to 1.5% as a result, maximum damage reduction increased from 10 to 15%. Ooh. Decreased damage reflected from 20 to 40% to 10 to 30%. So you can't combine that, do that Thorns nonsense as well now. Decreased mana cost to 50 already. Ooh. Damn. This ability now decreases the cooldown of Sumo Slam as well as handicap by the same amount. That's cool. I was gonna make him, well, this hurts his aggression a little bit, but all this should make him more aggressive, which for his kid is very fun. You have to play him very aggressively for it to be effective, though. He's very much like Kumbhakarna in that respect. That constant aggression is your best strategy. Nemesis, decreased damage of slice and dice from 50 to 170, 40 to 160. Hasn't that been nerfed twice now? I don't think it's that's a problem. I think her passive might be just a tad overblown. That might need to be toned down, but that's the only thing I see, really. You know. Anyway. Fine, I guess. I don't think... I mean, she's been pretty good right now, but I don't think this was the change that was needed to bring her down. Terra, decreased amount of hits it takes to destroy monolith from 5 to 3. It started at 3. That was where it first was when they put it in the game. What the heck? Or when they put that effect in. Decreased damage mitigation from 10 to 5%. Decreased damage amplification from 10 to 5%. Just increase all of it so it's not so broken. This ultimate is crazy. Ridiculous. Ooh, I'm gonna hit a button and you're going to disappear. Terra's the ultimate magician. Increase the... Okay, Thor, Mjolnir's to increase the amount of damage the return hammer deals to minions from 50 to 80%. Thanks. It's made it so hard to clear, and it was also giving you a weird decision between which of these to clear, because this... A lot of people were thinking, oh, he's a jungler, I gotta clear, I gotta get Berserker Barrage. That's not actually true. Leveling Mjolnir's attunement first is actually what a lot of the high-level players do. I think it's the best move. Because while it doesn't give you the best clear, it gives you the most pressure on your opponents because it'll do a very high amount of damage early. And getting pressure on your opponents, I think, is a more valuable thing than being able to clear your buffs slightly more efficiently. This is Vamana. Vamana suffers from very high mana costs. I know he does. Man, he's had some of the worst mana costs in the game. His base mana is also really low, too. Just like a pain. The rank 1's not any lower, though. You don't... Okay, I'm not that happy about that, then. That only impacts his late game when the mana cost isn't as big of a deal. I would have preferred if they toned it all down accordingly. I mean, you know, I think his base mana, it might be the main issue with him, because it is not good. And finally, those of you Mayan fans out there, Xbalanque, Dead of Night. This ability now stacks off of player damage dealt instead of kills. Every 1000 damage dealt by Xbalanque will provide him with 1 stack. This is completely stupid and broken. That's 6,000 damage to get full stacks. In Conquest, that might take you 10 minutes. If you're getting a lot of pressure, and rotating a lot, not even that maybe. Like, that's completely dumb. His ability, his passive is really good, and it used to be hard to get stacks on it because you had to kill somebody to do it, which made him a very carry thing, a very carry-based god. He was a hard carry, and it was interesting. Also, Rising Jaguar decreased mana cost, whatever, that's fine. I like that though. Makes him a lot stronger early, because he gets rewarded a lot more for being aggressive and can get his stacks faster, and it's like that. I guess they want him to get to that carry position earlier because he's been on the low end of hunters for so long that they're trying to pump him up, I guess, but I don't like it really. I think it's gonna be too strong. Anyway, with that being said, guys, as the thunder is rolling in here, oops, that is going to do it for today's patch notes. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Stay tuned for the possible Chernobog video. Hopefully there will be a video out with gameplay of him very soon. And you know, like and subscribe, all that usual stuff. Please do not forget to check out the Twitch live stream at twitch.tv/CommanderClyde. There will be a link in the description. You can find it on my YouTube page too. There's a link there. Really appreciate it. Those of you who will come to check it out. I usually start streaming at about noon Central Standard Time. Hopefully the rest of you, those of you who are not in Central Time, can figure out what time that is for you. Check out the live stream. We are super close to affiliate. Now we're up over 50 followers. Just got to get that 30-day average up another 0.2 viewers. That's it. And then we meet the affiliate requirements and we can get that sub button. So I appreciate all of you that come to check that out. Anyway, I will see you all later for some more Smite. Have a good one.